Luis Enrique has competed in the New York Marathon, the Frankfurt Ironman, a 10-hour triathlon, and a 255 km trek through the Moroccan desert with a 10 kg rucksack. The club's managerial record under Roman Abramovich is one of short bursts of success followed by a departure, a reset, and more success. Depending on which Enrique they get, that could either be the worst-case scenario or his ideal. There are two tales in his managerial career. Roma was a season of failure, an attempt to audition for the Barcelona job that ended in their worst Serie A finish for a decade. The other, framed around the glory at Barcelona, was him moving the club as far away from their philosophy as can be tolerated by supporters at the Nou Camp. He was billed as the next Pep Guardiola, but ended up pulling them away from his model. Enrique's career began with Barcelona B, like Guardiola.The Manchester City manager's decision not to leave Catalonia at the end of the 2010-11 season would have forced Enrique into a fourth year with the reserve side. That, he thought, would be stalling his career. He decided to take up an opportunity elsewhere. He may not have been in the cauldron of the Nou Camp, but he now had the Colosseum on his horizon. Roma were clear about why they wanted him. The reason we chose Enrique is symbolic, said Walter Sabatini, Roma's director of football. Enrique represents an idea of football that we would like to follow, which imposes itself today through Spain and Barcelona. When he was appointed, Spain and Barcelona ruled football.Barca had just won another Champions League crown, demolishing Manchester United at Wembley. Spain were still basking in the glow of the World Cup.The Italian press dubbed Enrique's side BarcaRoma. There was no hint of malice in that title, it was excitement over what might follow. By the end of the campaign, it had become an albatross around his neck. They dropped to 7th as Enrique struggled to impose the model on the Italian side. There were clear issues. He stuck to a 4-3-3, often using Francesco Totti as a false nine. Totti is a wonderful player, suited to dropping deep, but Enrique was depriving Roma of their best goalscorer. Bojan, still seen as the next Lionel Messi, rather than the Stoke flop, was overused despite struggling for form. Totti was substituted often, they clashed. Young players were prioritized. There was an element of bravery to what Enrique did. He showed he was not afraid to drop the big names, something that will only suit him well at Chelsea. I decide who plays. The same behavior is expected from each player to work towards a common goal, he said at the time. And the reality was that the system simply wasn't right for the players in his squad. At the same time, they struggled to penetrate defenses, often finding themselves playing ball after ball on the edge of the box to no result. Enrique left, licking his wounds along the way. Celta Vigo gave him an opportunity to resurrect his reputation, and he did that, lifting them from 17th the season prior to 9th in La Liga. Even better, for any watching Barcelona fans, he demolished Real Madrid.His time came. If he tried to turn Roma into Barcelona, the assumption would be that he'd stick to the model at the Nou Camp. That was not the case. They shifted away from Guardiola's outlook and became far less reliant on control in midfield. Instead, he used the hugely talented front three of Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez and Neymar as the entire focus of the side. Getting the ball to them and letting them do damage was the name of the game. Everything changed, in the words of Messi. The Argentine himself was reported to have fallen out with Enrique after being rotated for a game midway through the season. He later claimed it had not been the case. But at times, the pressure was on. A slow start was followed by a sudden upturn in form. By the end of the campaign, he had achieved what only Guardiola had managed before him: the league, Champions League and Cup treble in his first season. In his second, as they won the double, they managed 134. Look at Chelsea and players like Eden Hazard, direct and dynamic in the same way as the MSN, and it seems a similar outlook would work at Stamford Bridge. The problem, increasingly, was that they were too reliant on that triumvirate. When Neymar's total fell from 31 to 19 last season, it hindered Barcelona's chances. There was no alternative to the plan. They finished second, but, in reality, were not even competing with eventual title winners Real. A Champions League exit to Juventus also followed. Enrique himself left happily. So, the question really is whether that suits Chelsea. Two seasons of silverware followed by a relatively tame collapse in the third would represent arguably more longevity than any manager in the last decade and a half. And, to take positives from his Roma reign, few would doubt Chelsea need a shake-up when it comes to player power. It is the battle Antonio Conte is currently fighting against. But as much of an issue is which Enrique will turn up.